Howdy race fans, welcome to my little show about motorsports I like to call In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott, here each Wednesday on the YouTube during racing season, you know fans, when I feel like it. The Camping World Truck Series race at Eldora that preempted In the Pits last week was a very entertaining foray into the dirt, which was won by Kyle Larson in a Silverado that had to battle from being put back to the back. And along with another favorite, Rico Abreu, they battled back, and he finished third after an interesting evening. It was a fun night of dirt track racing in front of a huge crowd there at Eldora. And I hope that they schedule many more races there at Eldora for the trucks. But I am in no hurry to see a Sprint Cup points race on dirt. Maybe the All-Star race would be nice, having them race dirt late models or something like that, or an Xfinity race on dirt, but not Cup. I'd rather see Cup do something like drop a couple of double dates at tracks that have low attendance. Tracks like Loudon. Maybe they could lose a date and give that date back to a track with this a little bit smaller venue that they don't have to fill up as much, like North Wilkesboro or Rockingham, and give a smaller track that does fill up, like Iowa. Give them a date and give racing fans more variety of tracks and more short tracks. I mean, don't get me wrong, race fans. I love Talladega. It's my favorite. I would never want it to lose a day. That also goes for Daytona. But as an old school racing fan, I really miss the two short tracks mini seasons that NASCAR once had years ago. Yeah, what I'm talking about is during the spring, there'd be like 4 races in a row where it'd be Bristol, Martinsville, North Wilkesboro, and Richmond. And then in the fall, it'd be Bristol, Richmond, North Wilkesboro, Martinsville, something like that. But it was 2 distinct seasons, little mini seasons, and it was really nice to bunch short tracks up together like that. Speaking of short tracks, ARCA had a really good race at Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Claremont, Indiana on Friday night. That's another really nice short track. Chase Bristol raced hard to win his 3rd consecutive ARCA event that night, and he will be looking forward to making it 4 in a row this Friday evening at Pocono as ARCA rolls in for a NASCAR support race there at Pocono. Camping World Trucks and Sprint Cup will also be there on Saturday and Sunday. Now, NASCAR also had 2 races in Indiana this past weekend, but I won't be talking about those. I watched both events in replay, but I have no desire to relive them any farther. Well, because the next Xfinity race is a standalone event there at Iowa, it has a chance of being a good race for a change. But I won't be seeing it live because I will be at the Miller 200 this Saturday at South Sound Speedway. I have seen a few of these fun 200 lap annual super late model events, and I can highly recommend it. But also this Saturday is a 125 lap super late model feature at Evergreen Speedway up in Monroe. So race fans, you have options in your racing entertainment fare this weekend. I'm sure that many of the regular Evergreen drivers like Andy Soul, Mike Holden, and Tyler Hanner will be there, but Molly Helmut plans to head south for the Miller 200. So that's where I am going. Also, let's see. You might wonder, well, what was I doing this weekend to have missed both the NASCAR races as well as the Formula One Grand Prix of Hungary live on TV? Well, I was busy with a little road trip to the Hermiston Super Oval to see the Better All Auto Sales Twisted Tea West Coast Late Model Series Street Rods Unlimited 125 last Saturday night. It was another great late model racing event in the northeastern corner of Washington's sales tax-free neighbor to the south. The weather was hot and dry for another night of fast and furious short track racing. Fastest time on the quarter-mile oval was set by defending West Coast Late Model Series champion Buck Knoll Jr. with a 15.6 something there around the quarter mile. 19 cars came to race at Hermiston, but unfortunately Pete Ulam's car broke, so only 18 cars took qualifying laps. After timing in, the track had a meet and greet for the fans, so shout outs go out to the drivers that took the time in the hot evening sun to roll their rides out onto the front stretch to meet us fans. Thank you to Andy Beeman, Dan Nelson, who gave me a hero card that Godzilla's holding for me, Brooke Schimmel, Jim Franklin, and other drivers. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. We race fans truly appreciate it. Hermiston is not the only thing hot and dry. Hermiston also had mini stocks and hornets racing that evening. The family of the mini stock winner sat nearby us and wildly cheered for Josh Johnston for every lap. You might remember Josh used to race at South Sound, so it was good to get to see him racing again. And his family really enjoyed it. The Hornet main was a wild 50-lap battle with over 20 of the little cars. And then after that, the 18 West Coast Late Model Series entries lined up for an exciting 125-lap feature. The invert put young Brooke Schimmel in P1. From there, she led the first few laps, but it was only a few, as series visiting driver Eric Hector took the lead with his yellow number 68 and stayed there the remainder of the event. I learned later that Hector has logged many laps at the Hermiston Super Oval, and the win was not a big surprise to the other drivers. After Hector got around Schimmel, she fell back to battle Jim Franklin for second place. Then, in what looked like one of those racing deals, Brooke got turned off of Jim's nose, and the ensuing carnage ended her night. And Franklin, even though the get-together there in turn 3 was unintentional, still he had to take his number 2 car to the back of the field. And I also think he had some toe damage there to deal with. As the race continued to unfold, Andy, the Honey Badger Soul and defending West Coast Late Model Series champion Buck Knoll Jr. made their way up to the top 3, up as high as 2nd and 3rd, but no one could catch and pass that yellow number 68 of Eric Hector. The last Hermiston winner for the West Coast Late Model Series, their Mid-Columbia Dermatology Rookie Challenge leader, Doug Poirier, was the highest finishing rookie again that night in 4th. while the series' last winner there at Yakima, Randy Marshall Jr., finished in Hermiston in 5th. Eric Hector wasn't the only winner of the evening. Your boy StockCar Scott here won this sweet Twisted Tea banner signed by a dozen of the series drivers, and I did that by correctly answering a West Coast late model trivia question. So how does it look there, race fans? The next event for the West Coast Late Model Series is August 6th for the Brawl for It All 100 back at Yakima. But first this weekend will be, as I said, the Miller 200 Saturday night at South Sound Speedway, and I'm reading they are expecting 24 super late model drivers for this event that is celebrating its 20th year. So I'll be watching Molly Helmuth race along with Chad Hinkle and Tommy Elston and Wade Bland from Canada and Riley Watson and a lot of other drivers for a great show of 200 exciting laps of super late model racing. Also, I get to enjoy the best chili cheese fries the local racing community has to offer. So it should be a really good weekend. Oh, one last item, the F1 Grand Prix of Hungary. It was fun to watch when I got home from the big race at Hermiston Super Oval. My favorite, Lewis Hamilton, was on the outside of the front row beside his teammate, what's his name, Rosberg. And that happened because of a crash that Lewis suffered in qualifying, but everything turned out okay. Lewis took the lead on lap 1, turn 1, and then went on to win in dominating fashion to also take away the championship driver's points lead away from his teammate. What's his name? Also, what's his name? He finished second there. Mr. Smiley, Daniel Ricciardo, was third on the F1 podium there in Hungary. The next Grand Prix is in Germany this coming Sunday before the F1 has a mandatory summer shutdown. Their factories have to shut down everything for about 3 weeks. But I won't be shutting down over the summer, race fans. There is just too much racing to see. Like I said, the Miller 200 this weekend. West Coast Late Model 100 at Yakima next weekend. And then the big K&N Pro West Series 150 lap event the following weekend at Evergreen Speedway on the big 5/8 mile track, along with the rescheduled Galloway 150 super late model event for 300 laps of stock car racing on the big 5/8 mile. Then the week after that, it will be back to Evergreen for my favorite series, the West Coast Late Model Series, for their visit to the Fairgrounds 7/8 mile there at Evergreen. There are also some NASCAR road course races to watch on TV over the next few weeks, and I'll watch that. But don't expect me to talk much about NASCAR until Dale Jr. comes back, race fans, which I kind of expect to be at Bristol. Why there, you may ask? Because it's Bristol, baby. So I expect to continue to have a very busy summer watching motorsports, locally, nationally, and globally. And if you wish to join me, well, I have just laid out my schedule for the next month. So if you are listening, you'll know where to go watch racing with me. And I hope to see lots of race fans over the next few months out at our local racing venues. Because if we don't go to local races, we may lose those local racing venues. I have, a few have closed since I have been up here. That'd be Spanaway and Tri-Cities and Port Angeles, and we are in danger of losing another here in Washington. So please be like me, StockCar Scott, and visit a motorsports track near you. Make friends with the local race fans and local drivers and crews there, and I guarantee you will be back cheering several more times over the summer, and looking forward to being with your new friends in the racing community. Then you can tune in the following Wednesday and watch and say, hey, yeah, I went to that race. And then you can check out my videos on the YouTube channel. You can do that too, and maybe you'll see yourself in one of the videos, the back of your head or something, as I'm filming racing there. So that we understand each other, though, I am here to get y'all folks in the stands. You gotta understand, racing is a fun sport to support. It's full of great people and good times. But that's enough. That's enough for this week. I'd like to thank you, race fans, for watching my little show this week again about motorsports that I like to call In the Pits with me, StockCar Scott. And I should be back next week, same StockCar time, same StockCar channel, with another show about stock cars and racing. You know, if I feel like it. Again, thanks for watching. Now, go see some racing.